Welcome back to the shop, clay shop. I bought this saw after Hurricane Ian. I've got some trees that are a little bit bigger than my little Milwaukee or my little Makita chainsaw can handle, so I bought this cheap one. I don't have a lot of trees to cut down, but I don't know. I hate getting into this conundrum where you either buy something expensive, buy once, cry once. But in this case, I just couldn't pull the trigger on an expensive saw. One, because I couldn't get one, and two, because it's just going to sit on the shelf forever because we're pretty much, out of trees, big trees for the near future. The last decade has been pretty hard on this neighborhood, so we're running out of trees. But I bought this thing, 160 bucks give or take, 20-inch. It's supposed to be 62 cc's. There's a lot of different stuff about it. I guess the key is, from what I read, it's hard to start, but the guy said if you choke it 3 times and pull it, and then it should run. Anyway, we're going to try it. Alright, well, this is how you fix the cheap chainsaw. You go buy a real one. Let's fire this one up. See how many cranks it takes for this one. I'm giving up on that chainsaw for a while. I just can't do it anymore. This is the remainder of the flatbed build. As you can, for those of you that have been watching the channel, you'll know that video went flawlessly, except for the part where I dropped this on the Jeep. This section. So what I'm going to do now is use the remainder of this as a firewood carrier. I understand that the weight balance on this is not ideal, but without dismantling this and reassembling the whole thing, it would be a tremendous amount of work for something that's probably going to get maybe a tenth of a mile a year or a decade on it. It's really not going to travel any real distance, and the tongue weight isn't going to be that substantial because it's just wood on here. So I've got some plate steel, came from the shop, and we'll go ahead and weld on some random bed frames and stuff and just sort of stiffen this up a little bit, and then put some air in the tires and use this to carry around the rest of the trees. The firewood when we split it. I think the saying goes, don't let perfection get in the way of good enough. This is more than good enough. This video is just a smorgasbord of different stuff. I was talking to Clay and I was talking about a hookaroon or a hookaroon. I said, why don't you just weld a nail or something on the end of a piece of rebar? And I have this, my buddy Chance gave me this cold steel axe. It's a great little axe. And I'm just going to take this old worn out tab and weld that on there. We'll see how that works. That shouldn't go anywhere. Look at that, we caught Clay working. There he is at the golf cart, snatching some golden rain trees. These are fast growing exotic trees. They're pretty when they bloom. They have a certain kind of bug that lives on them. They don't bite you or anything, but they're still bugs. I'm going to get started on this one with the little Makita. He's got the big saw. Oh, there goes the branch. Right to the road. We made a little bit of progress on this. This little Echo is just so nice. It is a great saw. It starts up easily and it's doing a great job. This is a pretty big branch. As you notice, that is a tree that it came from, so this is just a branch off that tree. And I think that's got an 18-inch bar on it, and it will just not quite make it all the way through. And I'm about halfway up the limb. I have to make 2 cuts all the way through here. And I'm sort of chopping this up into firewood size stuff and manageable sizes because I'm going to eventually have to hand load each piece onto the splitter and split that into firewood, so I don't want big chunks of it any bigger than I have to. Well, that's enough work for a Saturday. I'm all over the place with this video in a couple different levels. I guess, you know, primarily with the cheap saw, with that Weimars thing, I'm really not happy with it. But this Wen splitter, also cheap, love it. It's hit or miss with these things. I guess it's sort of like Harbor Freight. You know, there's a place for it. I don't split a lot of wood, but when I do, you know, it's nice to have the tool. But I don't need something that costs $1,000. And this thing is done, you know, this is year number 2 with it, and this is just what I've done in the last, 2 days with it. Sorry, the light's all blown out. But it seems to get right through this oak when it's green. I do not know what it's like when the wood is old. But that's it. I just figured I'd get some content up on the channel. I hope you guys are having a good weekend. Thanks for watching.